The first speaker for today's evening is Ms. Kanchan Chandar. Born in New Delhi 1957, received her formal training in painting and printmaking from College of Art, New Delhi, Berlin and Art School of Santiago, Chile. She has held solo and participated in various prestigious exhibitions in India and all over the world. I call upon ma'am to please come over and take up the stage, please.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank Anugoonj, Kalakriti, Prashant, Kirti, and mainly the person who brought me here, Jyoti. Thanks a lot, and I'm really in awe at seeing what they're doing, the service they're doing to the art world. I think it's really amazing. I think it's something remarkable, and I'm really happy. So today's presentation, I was thinking I was going to talk to students, but it's a different audience, mixed audience, but you'll have to bear with me. So this, I'm going to divide the thing into 3 parts. I'm going to show some slides and talk a little about it. Then show a studio, a film shot in my studio. That's only 7 minutes, and then an interview. So if there's any question answers after that, you're most welcome. So I'm going to start with this. This is the latest that I've been working on, the Devis, Hollywood, Bollywood. So the next. Okay, this is a Devi. It's an acrylic on canvas. Can we have the lights off, please? Can we have the lights off? Because it's not showing properly, I think. You can also have this off. Ye bhi band kar dijiye. The next one. This is also a Devi. It's acrylic and Swarovskis. I'm not showing the earlier works because it's a long journey. It's a journey of 4.5 decades. So that will be too boring. So I'm just going to the latest works. Next. I work a lot with the female figure. Decorativeness is very much important inside the body and outside on the surface. Next. This one is called Gio or Gino Do. I've had a real roller coaster life. I've led a life full of turmoils and tragedies and happiness. So it's like telling the society now, this is enough is enough, and just leave me alone. So this is a series called Gio or Gine Do. Next one, the same one also. It's, sorry, can we go back? It's basically, it's a lot of works are very autobiographical, but I don't want to sort of like show it directly, so I take very iconic figures. Next. Now this is a piece which I had seen in the museum, Yogini, it's a Yogini, and I work a lot. I travel a lot, so I take a lot of pictures while I'm traveling of the sculptures. I come back and I sort of like paint them on my canvases, and then I embellish it. This work has a lot of embellishment. It's got Swarovskis, sequins, very painstaking, but the whole process of applying the embellishment is very therapeutic and very meditative. Next. This is also same, it's a Yogini series. Next. This one is based on Lajja Devi, Gauri Devi. This is a sculpture of a woman giving birth to a child. But instead of the child, I've put another woman upside down. It's like Kirti ma'am had said, a lot of them are very sort of like erotic and based a lot on the Indian sculptures. Again, very, very intensely embellished with the Swarovskis and sequins. Next. This is, you know, I sometimes use a lot of vim and fantasy and pun. It's passion and possession. It's like every woman, she likes to hoard things. वो एक pin भी नहीं फेंकेगी. She will not even throw a pin in the house. She will keep it. शायद कभी काम आ जाएगा. So I put myself in those shoes, and I basically started doing this series. And of course, you can ask me the question that why are those spoons or the chamchas there? Now, it's again very symbolic. It's with all the chamchagiri which is happening in our politics, in our art field, in the performing arts. So it's a pun, it's a slap. I think, life has already been so serious, so I don't want to do serious works anymore. I want to be a colorist, and I want to sort of like enjoy. And believe me, I enjoy working on these works. Next. Yeah, this is again same. अगर आप ध्यान से देखेंगे, there are coins. These are coins which my parents had saved. The one there is actually beer cans. They are a wrapping paper which I found when I'm traveling in Europe. You see, when I travel, people go for these designer, malls and shops. I just go for stationery shops, and I pick up stuff which I like, which I can use. And when I go to new cities, I don't go to the malls again. I just go to the local shops, and I pick up the local stuff. So this is a Devi Novo. I'm trying to say that today's woman is not only confined to home. She likes to go out to a bar. She likes to dance. She likes to have a drink in the evening and to chill out. So the next. Again, it's the same. You can see Devi Novo is basically, I'm showing the feminine and the masculine part in a human being today. Today, the women are doing works in society. They are doing the plumbing, they're doing the electrical parts at home, whereas the men are going to beauty parlors. Okay, so the roles have reversed, and why not? So this is basically, I'm an observer. I like to observe what is happening, and I don't comment now. I used to earlier. So now everything I put in my works. Next. Next. Again, it's the same. आप चारों तरफ देखेंगे चमचे, करछियाँ, craters, buttons, सब कुछ है. बहुत चमचागिरी देख ली यार. Now, I'm just saying, let me put it in my art. Next. Okay, that was a different. Now there's another part of Kanchan. Kanchan has a lot of parts. So this is, if I was not a painter, I would have loved to be an actress, which I couldn't be. So I said, chalo, theek hai, let me start a series on Hollywood and Bollywood. So I have taken the tragic queens, whether it's Meena Kumari, Suraiya, Madhubala, or Marilyn Monroe. So I have done a series. I work on the Photoshop, take out the printouts. Can you hear me at the back? Yeah? Hindi, English, sab chalega? Acha, theek hai. So I embellish it. I work on the face. And jo charo taraf aap dekh rahe ho, grey, that are all wrapping papers. So much so, when I get a gift, I get more excited if I get a nice, interesting wrapping paper. I least bothered about the gift. So I keep hoarding them. The next one. This is the Marilyn Monroe. They are quite big. They are like 3 feet by 4 feet. They are huge. And I don't have a helper at home. I do everything myself. I think I'm probably a bit too finicky. It's like I'm a perfectionist. So I like to do the cutting and all, and the sticking all by myself. Next. This is, I think, Wahida. Yeah, Wahida. So next. This one is Marlene Dietrich. And if you see on the right-hand small, there are 4 boxes. Those are, those boxes that you have for those pills, Monday to morning, evening, ka jo hota hai. And I've actually put medicines in them, physically put the medicines in that. Next. This is, can anyone guess? It's half Audrey Hepburn and half Madhubala. So I have made it into a Hollywood-Bollywood series. This was initially when I started. 2011 mein shuru kiya tha, tab ka kaam hai. Next. Badri Dixit and Frida Kahlo. Basically, the Hollywood-Bollywood series is black and white, but this is one which I made in color. Next. What's his name? I've forgotten. Andy Warhol? Yeah. It's Andy Warhol, and what is the other one? I've forgotten the name, sorry. Next. It's pink because it's a homage to the gay men. That's Michael Jackson. Rick Martin, that's Rick Martin at the bottom. Next, please. You can see that I have a lot of fun doing it. So this is also a series on Frida. It's Frida Kahlo. I'm not sure if many of you are aware, but Frida Kahlo was a very famous, strong Mexican artist. And I just love her work. So this is a homage to her. It's called Frida and Me. Next. You'll see me in the side. Frida is main and me on the sides. Next. That's me in the center. That's me when I was a kid. Next. Okay, so now this was the last show I had, a solo show I had in 2016. It's called If I Had Wings to Fly. All the silver part is done in silver leaf. And in the middle, you have a little bit of gold leaf. Next. Next. While doing my art, I actually listen to songs. So it's like, जो उस टाइम दिमाग में आ जाता है, I title it, कोई लौटा दे मेरे बीते हुए दिन. So you, in fact, on the body you have this thing written, you know, I think that song by Jagjit Singh, वो कागज की कश्ती, वो whatever the word, बारिश का पानी. Next one. This one is a small work, it's enlarged. It's again based on the same yogini you saw. Next. Okay, now with times I'm changing with my mediums also, becoming more techno. So this one is it's a digital print. What I do is I work on the Photoshop. I keep on working, adding things. So this is all done on the Photoshop, and then a printout was taken out. Next. That's also one of the first painting which I showed. It's that painting which I have worked on it, and I've made it into a digital print. A very contemporary, but surprisingly, I'm getting a very good response for all these works. Next. Okay, this is a series of drawings I did in that show. They're huge drawings. It's also to show that an artist is not only based just with the painting, it's also different mediums they work with. Next. It's the detail of that. This was based on, that last one was based on Nirbhaya. It was a homage to Nirbhaya. So it's basically the last words which she had said to the mother. It's written there. Next. Next. This is a series of drawings that I do. So basically I do painting, I do mixed media, I do video art, and okay, this next. These are details. Now, this is a woman crouching, but all over, if you read carefully, it's names of all the booze, you know, tequila, Absolute, Shiva's Regal, all names I could think of. So it's a pun again. Next. Okay, this is a sculpture I made with metal and found objects. So this is the male part, and I've put cigarette boxes and all inside. Next. Next, please. This is the female version. So आप अंदर देखेंगे कि बहुत सारे toys वगैरह सब कुछ mixed डला हुआ है. Next. This is the latest that I'm doing. I am doing the mixed medias on a sculpture. I get the sculpture made. It's 15 inches big. And then I do all the pasting on it. Next. So ये सारा जो है ये newspaper brunch से या HT से या wrapping paper से, these are all a mixture of thought. Very kitsch. Next. Next. Also, I'm working the same series, but with, again, Bollywood, Hollywoods. Next. Next. Now, this is a sculpture I did. It's a physical sculpture, jo 2D hai. Next. Again, the latest drawings. This is a show which is happening on the 5th of January. So, I'm just showing you a few of those. Next. 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 Again, on the sides you will see, you know, songs. Next. This is a steel sculpture that I did in 2008. It's a Devi again. Next. This is quite 5 feet tall, and it's actually in a hospital in Hisar. Next. Next. This is a detail of that last one. Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to show you now a video. Can we see a day in my studio? It's a very young filmmaker. Can we have the lights off, please? साउंड चाहिए साउंड नहीं है साउंड This is how I work in the studio. Sorry about the music, but this is what happens throughout the day. As you can see, each sequence is put one by one, so it's actually therapic. That's a picture of my son. My son is also an artist. He's an artist and theater person, so there's a lot of art in the whole house. Question answers पूछ लेते हैं. What is question? क्यों? Some of the works you can see in detail here, which you had seen in the slide talk. That's my son. You can see that the songs are written on it. Thank you. Sorry, okay. No, yeah, this one. Yeah, the next one is a film which, yeah, just by shot and done by Catherine Myers. She is a professor in USA. So it's an interview, but anytime you feel you're getting bored, just let me know. I can stop it. Okay, so you will understand more about the artwork there. I started my career long ago in school, you can say, where actually my dad was a diplomat, so I traveled a lot with him. And I landed up in Berlin, East Berlin at that time, where my dad was posted. And that's where my career started. And of course, there was no stop after that. He was posted to Santiago, Chile, where again I joined him in the middle of my art course. I did printmaking there. This is how I got into printmaking. And then I came back again to my college in Delhi College of Art, and I finished my course there. And then I got a scholarship to go to Paris. I got married there. It wasn't that romantic though. And then when we came back, we started the career, and I got a job in the College of Art. I taught there for almost 20 years, 14 years permanent, but it was totally male dominated. All the good teachers had left, and it was male dominated, and they were sort of like, they actually mentally harassed me a lot. And being an artist, I just could not cope up with it. So I chucked the job without pension, which was quite a tough decision because I had a 15-year-old kid to bring up single-handed because I was a single mother. I was divorced 20 years back. So it's been quite a roller coaster ride. When my father was about to retire in 1980, he came back to India, and we had a big tragedy in our family. My only brother, Vivek, he passed away in a road accident. So that left a big void in my life because it was difficult to sort of handle and emotionally stabilize my parents, who were at the end of their career and who were looking forward to spending time together with me and him and his family. But the tragedy sort of, it was very difficult because at the same time, I was also in the last year of my college. Then I got a scholarship to go to École des Beaux-Arts Paris, and I studied there, and at the same time I got married in Paris with a Haryanvi. Indian Haryani artist. And then we came back and got a job in the College of Art, and we started. So I always had printmaking as a major thing. I mean, even till today, my heart is for the prints, but it's just because there's lack of space. I gradually turned into a painter because my son was born in 1990. It was impossible to do a full-time job and to look after old parents, build a small apartment. It was all on my head. I had to do everything single-handed. It's been a tough journey. So that's where my you can say my Bhutaratna series started. I got married in '86, and when we came back, and already there were cracks coming up in my personal married life. I just happened to go to the Crafts Museum, and I saw a beautiful show called Bhoot Aradhna, curated by Kamla Devi Chattopadhyay. Now, Bhoot Aradhna is actually they are sculptures from the south. Bhoot means ghost. Aradhna means worship. Bhoot Aradhna. So they worship that. When I walked into this crafts museum, I had these beautiful sculptures gazing at me, and that music. It just enchanted me so much. I went back the next day with my unprofessional camera and I took pictures. Now I superimposed the photographs onto the litho stone and I took out these prints. There was something psychological because of what I was going through and how that enchanted me, that whole ambience. And then I did a series of Bhutaratna. There was some sort of a thing where I felt that there is a Kali in me. It's not only me, every woman has a Kali in her. And she has a Durga. The Durga, the compassionate, and Kali, the ferocious one who has all the anger that she goes through in her personal life, she takes it out. So I made this series called Kali in Me and Durga in Me. And like I said, bringing up a child, going through a turmoiled, horrible, messy marriage, doing a full-time job, it was actually like that, but I never stopped working. I mean, people were amazed. I never stopped working, I never stopped socializing. I like to socialize. Why not? Because at the day when you've had a tough day working, looking after parents, house, chores, child, you do need a little bit of outlet. So even till today, I mean, even now, life is not so easy. It's still tough, but I do like to go out and meet people and have a couple of drinks. Why not? And that's how my series started. And my series have been very, you can say, like there have been periods. Like there is the torso phase, then there is the printmaking phase, then there was the Vatsalya phase. Vatsalya means the love of a mother for the child. We started living in my father's house upstairs. It was a Barsati. The old windows were lying on the terrace for many, many years, and my father used to say, get rid of that junk, it's horrible, get rid of it. But I think lying on the terrace, those windows became seasoned with all the rain and all the sunshine. So then I removed the window pane, the glass and the net, and I put ply on top of it. And I did this series which you see here, the Vatsalya series. It's on the doors. Was it a door closing on the past? Because that was just after my separation, and the door opening towards a new future. So when I worked on that, it was basically on my relationship with my child. Like the images he used and the symbols we used, and he also, with his tiny hands, he was just 5-6 years old at that time, he painted on it, some of them. And then I separated in '96, and that's when my, you can say my series started with Kali in Me, Durga in Me, gathering scattered petals. I think it's a very strong work, very feminist, and very, it's a thing that, your married life is over, and like it's a freedom that I came out. So it's a work which I think it's very dear to me. And then I went to '97 to Mills College. There was a show, and I saw this show by Robert Rauschenberg. It has nothing to do with my works, but when I saw the retrospective at Guggenheim, I came back and I started working on the torso series, which I had started earlier, but it became my main thing, and I started embellishing. You see this work where the body, on the body I've sewn, what do you call, beads. I was trying to sew the whole part, but then while I was sewing, I started having eyesight problem. So I just made a bikini. I just worked on the bikini and I left it. Earlier, the torso series were minimal. They were very minimal, strong, monumental, flat backgrounds. But over the years, now that I'm again back to torsos after 20 years, it's so kitsch. I've started adding things because my life has been a kitsch, total kitsch. So I've started adding things which I pick up from Old Delhi, from my trips to different cities, countries. I pick up a lot of junk, so-called junk, stickers. So I add it on, and that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing all these torsos, the latest one. So that's when my torso series started. That is the time in 2000 onwards, though I was bringing up my child alone, I realized that he was not very good in studies. He was working, he was slogging, but he never used to get good marks. And I used to get so frustrated coming home and making him do works. And then one day I read an article in the paper about dyslexia. And I said, oh my God, it's all the symptoms my son has. It was a very difficult time because nobody knew what is dyslexia. Schools didn't know. So this whole series started, on the taktis, which you see here. Kids in villages go to study. They carry this takti. It's a board, like a chopping board. They write A, B, C, D, Ka, Kha, Ga, and then they come back and they paint on it every night, and then in the morning they again carry it. So this takti became a fun element. I started painting things like dyslexic things, also things like G.I. Joe toys, Tazos, all these started things coming into that. It was probably because the frustration that I was going through, that how do I cope up with this kid's dyslexia, and at the same time not give him that feeling that what I'm going through. He's a kid. I don't want him to know what I'm going through. And there was at the same time terrible pressure from the College of Art Delhi, which was making me a mental wreck. And so the decision whether to leave, because I don't come from a family where I'm rich. I come from a very normal, slightly high middle class family. To give up a job, a cushy, full-time government job, was a tough decision. But then the choice was either I give it up or I have a good health, because my health was going down. So I took a decision and I gave it up. That was in 2005. Started doing private tuitions after that, and I'm still continuing. It's 11 years, 12 years since I've left. It's not been easy. It's been tough. It's been tough. And the worst thing was when my son announced that he wants to be an artist. I said, no way. So 6 months there was counseling and, like trying to bribe him, and that, don't be an artist. Do anything in the world, anything. You can be a peon, I don't care, but just don't be an artist. But then I realized, because since I've been teaching for 30 years, that this boy is so determined. He's so determined, he just wants to be an artist. Fables Retold is something which every mother, when she's bringing up her child, she tells these stories. So I made this disc. I made about 125 of them, and I did woodcuts. I had a small press in my old Barsati. I took out woodcut prints. I painted on it. I added sequins, stickers on it. And the one which you see on the floor has got about 25 of them, which has his old toys, broken toys. I just got more and more involved into the mixed media, because I feel mixed media is very therapeutic, very meditative for me. I started coming to terms in life with my personal life and the art life. So I started doing this mixed medias, which started entering into my works, but now it's so crowded, it's so intricate, and it's so intense, the mixed medias, that I don't leave any breathing space in it. I just love it. I started with a series called Frida and Me. I saw this film by Frida Kahlo. I've always admired her, but I saw this film and it moved me tremendously. So I started this series called Frida and Me. I photoshopped her image, her symbols which she used, with a small me at the bottom or on the side or on the shoulder. I'm a drop in the ocean compared to Frida Kahlo, but I just feel that she went through a lot of physical pain. Fortunately, I didn't, but I went through a lot of emotional and psychological pain in my life. So that's how I compared myself, and I started adding mixed medias on it, embellishing it. The earlier works you see, as you see here, they're lesser embellishment, but as it goes later, it becomes so crowded and so full. It takes me weeks to do one work. The latest work which you see now is got a torso, and it's got a Lajja Devi sitting at the bottom. Lajja Devi is a yogini where she's giving birth to a child. And this other yogini 3 which you are seeing is, I have again put Lajja Devi yogini, and I have not shown that she's giving birth, but I have shown another Devi upside down coming out. So it's something which is like an ongoing process, and I'm enjoying doing it. Of course, a lot of people ask, why do you do this thing with the mythological images, you know, because I mean, I get inspired when I travel, when I go to places like Khajuraho, Belur, Hassan, or anywhere. If I see a sculpture, a Devi, or I see a female sculpture, I take pictures of it, and I'm not ashamed about saying, I don't deny it. I do take reference from Indian sculpture, and I have been doing it for the last 20 years. And now, of course, I feel that the works are much more therapic, meditative, and stronger, because I think I have emerged as a strong woman. Thanks for being such a nice audience, and I would be happy if there are a quick round of 2 or 3 questions anybody has to ask. Anybody in the audience? Maybe I've said too much. Are you sure? Okay, so thank you very much. Oh, Jyoti. I knew something will come. Thank you. Thanks. No, I don't want to be termed as a feminist and not even a woman artist. I'm just an artist. So people do put me in that category. I'm not happy, but they have the freedom to do. They are the audience. But I'm not a feminist artist. Not from my side. I'm just a pure artist. Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you.